विश्वान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललितान् श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Summary.
We had a little bit of a break, but we are working on our chapter 15, which is our Purushottama Yoga. Last class we did verses 8 and 9, or 7, 8, 9, or 7 we did previous class. 8 and 9 is what we did, Prabhu, last class. Eighth verse talks about how the jivas are carrying the senses. The living entity gets the body by giving up the current body. When it gets a new body, example, when the wind takes the fragrance. Similarly, when he takes the karma and carries to another. When passed over the fragrance, it has that scent that you gave that example, Prabhu. Soul is also carried with a subtle body. All the impressions, depend upon what state of mind he is in, he will attain the next body. And antakale chamameva, we referred to that verse. And then you quoted a verse from Padyavali, a sense of smell. When Radharani is said, wind carries the smell of Krishna and does vice versa for Krishna. Vice versa for Krishna. The wind blows over the newly bud and gets the fragrance. Bumblebee buzzing. Vrinda Devi wakes up and starts the entire process. And then we talked about the importance of mind. Like where you quoted us and from Narada Muni explaining to Prachina Barhis in Canto 4. MVP is the mind, the most valuable player. If you get the most valuable player in your team, you can score more. So engage your mind as much as possible. Garbage in and garbage out. Train our mind as much as possible. So you said like nectar of instruction, verse number 8. Sankalpa Vikalpa. I don't know what is that because I did not read the verse, Prabhu, so that I'm not able to recollect that. Intelligence does right or wrong is done by Shastras. Smaranam, fifth stage. Samadhi, only remembering Krishna. I think I did not read the verse of Nectar of Instruction, verse 8, Prabhu. I think that's where these all sentences came in. So that's what we discussed. The main point in this verse is like how jivas get transferred from this body to the next body, carrying with the subtle elements. Carries that, like the wind carries the fragrance, and with it with the impressions that he has created with the examples and discussion. And then we discuss the 9th verse, Prabhu. 9th verse is to enjoy the sense object. He takes the senses. Oh, yeah, right. I remember this, Prabhu. Depending upon the desires he has been given the senses the next lifetime to enjoy or suffer or go through the desire. Ears, smell, eyes, touch, rooted in central mind. All fingers are senses. Mind is central, grouped around the mind. When consciousness is mixed, doesn't mean that soul gets tainted. Example, when you have a colored glass eyes are not tainted, but seeing based on the glass in front of me. In what consciousness? Jivena Swarupe Krishnera Nityadas, which is doing mainly mind. Okay. When one is Krishna consciousness, he is in the pure consciousness. When you perform Uttama Bhakti, you may get the results or not. Why? Oh, yeah, there was a discussion, right, Prabhu? Because you said like the Bhakti Devi is independent. And so as Krishna, she will give when it is right. For this, you quoted the verse from um, Canto 1, Chapter 1, verse 14, where it said, living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth, death, can be freed immediately by unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified. This may happen or not, depends upon the person. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, 6 characters of sadhana bhakti. So this one verse, Prabhu, you said like, oh, how is this even like uttering the holy name unconsciously? Also, will he be able to attain? So that's what is the faith is, right? It has happened. If you believe it or not, it's up to you. So that's what we had in the discussion class. And doing sadhana over and over, doing is a duty, not having any love. Even performing with so much attachment, bhakti is durlabham, very rare. Bhakti Devi is independent. No mechanical formula to get it. Should be should not be impatient. Hope should never be given up. We should do certain things that can tilt the decision in favor of us. So, and how can we direct the bhakti while performing material life? This also we discussed. Oh, okay. Um, One point we have to slow down avidya part. We should say, I have done enough. I am done. Using your senses and intention and to do Krishna service. Sevon mukhe. Uh, Ashrama, doing a lot of hard work, creates samskara on children. Performing deity worship is a limb of bhakti. So we were just having a discussion, Prabhu. These were all. Uh,
I think Rama Mataji asked you a question that led to all this discussion.
oh, yes, correct, Prabhu. Yeah. Now I remembered.
Yeah.
I don't know. Last one, what we have said is we quoted a verse from Bhagavatam 2.8.5. The sound incarnation of the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul, that is Srimad Bhagavatam, enters into the heart of a self realized devotee, sits on the lotus flower of his loving relationship, and thus cleanses the dust of material association, such as lust, anger, and hankering. Thus, it acts like a autumn autumn's rains spring upon the pools of muddy water. That was an example you gave, Prabhu. That's all I wrote, Prabhu. It's been
Nice.
2-3 weeks. Although I heard and wrote it, now I feel like I heard I had to really refresh, Prabhu.
Very nice. Thank you so much. One thing we can maybe mention. Oh yeah. So Sankalpa Vikalpa, right?
Ah,
Vikalpa means options. Sankalpa means choosing one option. The mind has so many things. I have to do this, right?
yeah.
But they choose one. Sankalpa. That is right or wrong is a different matter. That is the duty of buddhi, intelligence. Does that make sense?
Sankalpa is choosing the right thing, Prabhu.
No, no,
Vikalpa
choosing
is
one
to
thing, choosing
choosing one
something.
thing. Okay. What is
Whether it's right or
Vikalpa,
wrong,
Prabhu?
intelligence should tell.
Okay.
That makes sense? So mind
Yes,
has
Prabhu.
stories of desires. I have to do so many things. Kya karo? Okay, let's do this. Why will I do this? Is it right or wrong? Different category, different department.
Right.
Okay. So I have one question. So you know the eighth and ninth verse, right?
Yeah.
How does the soul carry the senses on the body? Don't we leave all the senses here?
I don't think we carry the senses, Prabhu.
Hmm.
Take our desires and we
Subtle
are
body.
given senses depending upon the desires we have.
Okay. So Ethan, please go say something.
Sorry, Prabhu, I was saying we just carry the subtle senses with us, mind, intelligence, and
So
ego.
ye kya fir? What is this?
1 minute, I'm opening it. Which is the eighth and ninth verse?
Eighth verse में carries different conception in the eighth and ninth verse.
Mhm.
The it says senses are carried. How? What kind of senses? What is this? What is eyes? What are eyes and nose and everything? Is my question clear?
Those
Yeah,
are
so
gross elements, no, Prabhu. We don't carry that's what I think, Prabhu. As Anita said, we might carry the subtle senses, but not the gross senses.
and like
Okay.
Vijay said, he's talking about the vasanas, Prabhu, the impressions created by these
Vasanas are
sense.
vasanas. Right? How is that? Senses.
Is it in the purport you're reading, or I'm trying to find the exact line?
Yeah, the proper also,
Is it if you're reading?
I think I mentioned last time also, right? I think even Vijay mentioned in when she was describing that we carry senses one body to another. Right, Vijay? At very start, look at the notes. That's what he wrote, right?
Hmm.
What, Prabhu? Want to say one more time,
We
Prabhu?
carry senses one body to another.
Correct. That's what I have written, Prabhu.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
very
that's a
weird,
correction.
Prabhu.
That's not a correction. That's what it is.
Mhm.
So we do carry senses.
One more
As
card.
I mentioned, subtle senses. But then, what is this? What are these? I know what are these?
Your gross senses or material
So
senses.
then, what is it for? The subtle senses, the gross senses are the seat for the subtle senses.
They interact with the material world through the material senses,
Yeah.
right?
So we're saying the subtle senses sit, also say, on the gross senses. They are the seat for the subtle senses. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So whenever the living entities travel, so we have a subtle sense. Just imagine the subtle senses can be fit into any body with any sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let's say a dog, for a dog, for example, right? They have the same nose as ours, same size, same shape, same ability.
No.
No, but the senses, cell senses are such that it can integrate nicely to the whatever body we have, what body we get, the living entity gets. The actual senses are the subtle senses, and the gross senses are the seat on which subtle senses sit, through which we interact with the world.
So
Does that
you're
make sense?
saying, Prabhu, yeah, it's a very interesting point. So saying in the இதுல பண்ணிடத்தாங்கம்மா, it's okay. In the next body, the next life, one
Hmm?
gets an animal body.
Hmm.
It's okay, scribble here. One second, Prabhu, sorry.
No, no, no
Uh,
problem. Yeah.
in the next body, one gets an
Hmm.
animal body, and the previous one was a human body. Then
Hmm.
the same subtle senses transfer over to the dog's body. The material senses are different between the previous body and this body, but then obviously the dog does not act with the same amount of intelligence, or they in fact they don't even have the sixth sense, right? So somehow the the subtle senses are subdued. uh,
They have to make use of whatever is there in the actual body. For example, let's
mm,
say you have a mm, you have a Ferrari, okay? For example,
mm, mm,
Ferrari has aerodynamic body, everything is perfect, actually, it's amazing, okay? It can reach 250 miles per hour speed, okay? For example, okay? But the engine there, inside the engine inside is what? Is what a 500 cc engine, for example, or 2-liter engine.
mm,
Can the Ferrari go fast? Can Ferrari take advantage of the body it has?
no.
No.
Understood.
Otherwise, for example, the body is Bakwas. Dumb body. Premier Padmini. Do you remember? Ambassador? Do you India ambassador car? Big ambassador car.
Yeah, the
Right.
white one, yes.
Right one. Imagine the ambassador, okay? But you put a Ferrari engine in that. Can the car go? The Ferrari engine, can the go ambassador go with that speed?
No, it's still the same accelerator, brake, and
Yeah. So you have to make whatever is there actually, yeah, that's the limitation. That's it.
okay,
No
okay.
percentage you have. External limitable limit. So there is called Adhyatmic Purusha, Adi Devik Purusha, and Adi Bhautik Purusha. Adhyatmic Purusha is the living entity. Okay? Adi Devi Purusha are the presiding deities of the senses. Does that make sense?
Uh,
Who facilitate the seeing. And the Adi Bhautik is the material body, senses we get.
okay.
These three are interdependent. If one of them is lost or one of them doesn't work, other two can't work. If the living entity is not there, no matter what sense you have, won't work. No use. Right?
Yeah.
The living entity is there, but certain sense is not there. Even if external sense is there, will it work? No. Because the
Mm.
presiding deity of the senses said, no, not going to work. That is why if you have mind problem, example, right? Well, this is worship deity of moon. Moon is the present deity of mind.
Yeah.
Sun is present deity of eyes. Right?
Uh,
So the central senses have presiding deities because are the Devic. The gross senses are the Bhautik. So we need these three. That makes sense? Adi Bhautik, we need the material body, the subtle senses, and the living entity. And these three have to be in tandem. One of them is out of the picture, other two are users. So they are the shelter of each other. Does it make sense?
yeah. Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Any questions? Will it see the bouncer? No.
Wow, very nicely explained, Prabhu, with the
This is by
example
Sri
of the.
Jiva Goswami Prabhupada in Tattva Sundarbha. At the very
Wow.
end, he's teaching, is mentioning this. And
Wow.
he talks about the Paramatma, and before the Paramatma, he talks about all Jivas. And he talks about how Paramatma is the Swa Ashraya. He is the shelter of himself. But the Jivas are also Ashraya, but they have to take shelter, interdependent Ashraya of all this. They are not independent shelters. Paramatma is independent. In that context, he talks about all this stuff. All the creation. He talks about the creation aspect. Bhagavatam mentioned creation. Second canto, third canto. What comes first? We have the pradhan unmanifested. Then we have time. When in pradhan we have all the gunas neutralized. None of it, so now everything is equal. When one guna starts being more than starts disturbing, gets disturbed in one after another, when there are no equanimity between them, creation starts. Matatva. Again, more glance matatva. Then we have three satvik, rajasik, tamasic, ahankar. Satvik ahankars, we get mind, presiding deities. Rajasik, tamasic, we get tanmatra, sound, touch. So all this creation happens. Bhagavatam mentioned. Same thing, Jiva mentions in the Sandarvas. So there's a because it was this particular part was related to what I read. I just thought of saying that. Senses are moving. The mind takes subtle senses along with it and puts into another body, whatever body it gets, and has to make use of whatever body that animal or whatever insect, whatever it is they have. Okay. Thanks, Shasai. Ramya, thank you for joining. Long time. Hope we India trip was very nice.
Yes, Prabhuji, it was very nice.
Wonderful. Rejuvenated. Okay. After coming back.
Homesick, Prabhuji, very homesick.
Very homesick. You have a home outside home. You have Anita Viji.
That I went I went last week also to Vijay Mataji's house and
Correct.
nicely did.
Yes.
There was a program there.
Wonderful. So you have a home
Yeah.
outside home also. So please.
Oh. Yes,
But yeah,
Prabhuji.
homesick, I understand. But yeah,
Mm. If I could bring my Amma here, then no problem.
no problem. Yes. True. Hopefully, one day maybe she can. I don't know. She can come maybe for a couple of months. I don't know.
She's also working, Prabhuji, so
Okay. Fine.
yeah.
No
But yeah,
issue.
I'm trying to bribe her into coming here, telling
Yes.
something and all. Let's see. Okay.
Hopefully, she agrees.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay. So we read verse text number 10. Okay.
Which chapter, Prabhuji, this is?
The 15th chapter.
15th
If you read the
chapter.
14th.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I was there when 14th was getting over.
yes. Yeah.
Mm.
This is. Oh. some reason I'm not able to take the. It didn't take me the links. It's site is simply unavailable. And if I just clicking on a link, it says unavailable here now.
There's a link, Prabhu? Okay.
It's one, right? One, two, whatever, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is not working. Hmm.
Yeah, you found. Yeah, this been Tatandarva explains how this
Jai.
Bhagavatam, based on Bhagavatam. Perfect. Okay, so we are 15th chapter. Today's chapter is the Purushottam Yoga, right? And we are in the 10th verse now. Someone would like to read the 10th verse? Not I, but happy. One,
I can
right?
read, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you.
10th, no, this is 9th. Yeah,
We finish 8th and 9th.
8th and
That
9th,
Vijay
right?
mentioned, I remember.
Yeah. Utkramantam stitam vapi भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषः उ- उत्क्रामन्तं quitting the body स्थितं one second Prabhu स्थितं situated in the body vapi either bhunjanam enjoying va or guna anvitam under the spell of the modes of material nature vimudaha foolish persons na never anu Pashyanti can see. Jnana Chakshushaha, those who have the eyes of knowledge. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Purport. The word Jnana Chakshusha is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. This requires a great amount of knowledge understood from Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures heard from a bona fide spiritual master. One who is trained to perceive all these things is fortunate. Every living entity is quitting his body under circumstances. He is living under certain circumstances and he is enjoying under certain circumstances under the spell of material nature. As a result, he is suffering different kinds of happiness and distress under the illusion of sense enjoyment. Persons who are everlastingly fooled by lust and desire lose all power to understand their change of body and their stay in a particular body. They cannot comprehend it. Those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see that the spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying in different ways. A person in such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence. Therefore, those who are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give this knowledge to the people in general, for their conditional life is very much troublesome. They should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world. Jai.
Yeah,
Hare
wonderful.
Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Prabhu.
much. Okay, any thoughts, anything to these words? Anything which comes to your mind? Any points? No?
Prabhu, Jnana Chakshusha word is also mentioned in the 11th chapter, no, Prabhu? Like how initial start of the chapter, like Sanjaya will mention that he has been given that vision by the grace of his spiritual masters to see what's going on in the war field, right?
With Sanjay, with Sanjaya?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
Is it that kind of a Jnana Chakshusha that is being mentioned in this verse, Prabhu?
No, not really.
Okay.
It can be, but not this not that exactly. It basically means to know who we are or to know who one is, you learn from someone, somewhere. It has some shastra. So looking through the lens of knowledge, or knowledge specifically from shastra, looking through the lens of Shastra. So Shastra is the conduit through which we know who we are. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Yes. Shastra is the adhisthana, the base through which we know what to do, what not to do, everything. That's Shastra. Okay. Sorry, Vivek, you saying something?
Um, I was just trying to mention that I think you gave this example a few times about a person trying to pull himself out of an ocean. You can't pull yourself out, you need someone else to pull yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Prabhupada says here in the purport, persons who are everlastingly fooled by lust and desire lose all power to understand. So how much ever they try, you actually need a person who is understood to pull them out.
Mm-hmm.
You gave a similar example about Krishna, right? Krishna is unaffected. You can only expect a person to help you pull out of material modes of nature if a person is beyond that modes of nature.
Mm.
It's something similar to this problem. How
Yes.
much ever you put your personal effort, you need help.
Okay, and where is that? Do you remember any verse? It talks about exactly what you mentioned at that particular part. This verse in Gita. You need help from someone or take help from someone. Can think
Is
of
it
it.
is it that chapter where Sadimon found Rapannam? No.
नहीं वो तो सेकंड चैप्टर हो गया ना विशेषण मानते प्रपन्न 2.7
Yeah.
that is Krishna talking Arjun there. I'm saying in general principle Krishna gives a general principle. Yes, there is but in general principle.
Oh, in 12th chapter.
Okay. I thought in near fourth chapter where we talk
Mm-hmm.
about spiritual master.
Very nice. Where?
I was thinking Vidya Vinaya Sampane, but I don't know Prabhu where it is.
Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashtena sevaya.
Upadekshante
Jnanam.
jnanam
Jnaninas
tattvadarshana.
Exactly what exactly you mentioned. But someone who always other side, always seen, they can help. Gyan Tattvadarshina. The exact point was exactly perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, very nicely. Exactly. That is very important point that we can be saved by someone who is on the boat, not running along with us. Right? Perfect. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you so much. Okay. So Krishna says this is the verse. Okay. Utkramantam. Hmm. So this is in relation to the last two verses Krishna mentioned. The last two verses, Krishna is telling that my at the fragmented parts, everything, struggling hard. But 8th and 9th verse, Krishna talks about how the living entity moves one body to another. So now the natural question is, okay, then can't people, I mean, isn't so clear? Do we not realize that all jiva which depart from the body resides in the body? I mean, is it not clear? Why is it not clear then? Why didn't everyone know? Why not everyone knows this particular part? Then Krishna says, because a vimudha, with no intelligence. A person with no intelligence does not recognize a jiva leaving the body, residing in the body or enjoying. मतलब उनको पता नहीं jiva is residing in the body, and when the leaving body वो पता भी नहीं कि jiva is leaving the body. Nanu pashyanti, they cannot see. Pashyanti means present tense. They're not seeing. When jiva is leaving the body, jiva is present in the body, but jiva is enjoying in the body, they're not seeing anything. Isn't this? Because jiva, remember in second chapter, with the qualities of soul is mentioned. If is unable, not able to see the soul, not able to understand. Remember that Pashim Ashcharya. Do you remember the verse? Second chapter. If you go to second chapter.
Prabhu, that's kind of the last verse of that Atma Jnana section,
Yes,
Prabhu.
very almost the very end. It talks the
Verse 30 maybe, Prabhu. I don't know.
Yes, it is 29. Yes, some look on the soul as amazing. Well, आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चित् एनम् आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव चन्या आश्चर्यवत् चैनम् अन्य शृणोति. I mean, some tell the soul amazing. क्या है क्या? It's very difficult to understand because it's not graspable by a material sense. Does it make sense? Soul is a different, is an element, or you could say, made of different, totally something very different than we're used to. We can't just see the soul. We can have the presence of it, understand the presence of it. Does it make sense? So we don't see the air around us right now, but the air is there because we can feel the air. When the wind comes, we know oh, there's air. Right? So soul is present. So we have to understand the presence of soul by symptoms of the soul. Okay, and it's very difficult because by people are naturally they identify themselves with the body. Does it make sense? So those who are attached, so they identify, they make oneness with the body so much, they're not able to differentiate. I am different than the mind and the body. Sometimes we say things, but we understand the implication for it. We say, right, my body, my hand, right? We say it very simply, but there's implication for that. But what is the implication? You know?
My means you're referring to the soul.
हाँ लेकिन मतलब how do unbig the understand? My मतलब you're not the hand. किसका hand है फिर? Are you the hand? No. तो किसका hand है?
Yeah, the implication is it is
Referring to
your
someone other than the
identity.
body.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right? तो मतलब it's an open secret. It's right there. But still people that too zoned out for on that. It's like there is a barrier. It's zoned out on that particular aspect. Everything else is fine. So it's there right there. It's सामने है, but we are not able to see it. That's how basic this whole is. It is a little bit of open mind and thought to accept that. Does it make sense? Right? So the soul sthitam or bhunjanam, the soul is living utkramantam, they're quitting the body, or the secret of the body, or bhunjana, enjoying the senses, buddhanvitam. But vimudhas, nanu pashyanti, they are not able to see any of this. But who can see? How to see pashyanti? We should see to jnana chakshu, through the lens of knowledge, to the eyes of knowledge. Which knowledge? The books? No. Shastra. So jnana chakshu is synonym here for shastra chakshu, knowledge. Because the scriptures give these arguments. अच्छा ये बताओ फिर ये क्या है? Then we start thinking, अच्छा ये तो यार this makes sense. This logic and everything is given in Shastra. When we read through them and understand that, then that will make sense. Oh yeah, that makes we are not the bodies. When the person is dead, who leaves the body? Body is right, person is right here. What left? क्या हो गया? What? These questions, uh, it's some introspection, but it's through Shastra. Does it make sense?
yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Any questions on this? Is it Pupa's purport? I really love this particular line or this particular part. A person with such knowledge can understand how the condition living it is suffering the mental existence. Remember I told, is there any enjoyment in the world?
No, Hari Prashad Prabhu.
Right? No enjoyment in the world. Why? How is there no enjoyment in the world?
Because it's just sowing a seed for future distress in this life or next life, Prabhu.
Okay. So how or can you explain the types of suffering?
Parima dukkha, tapa dukkha, What's the last one?
It's not pariman, it's parinam.
Parinam dukkha.
Parinam dukha, tap dukha, and samskar dukha.
Samskara dukkha. Yeah.
Right? Parinam dukha is immediate transformation. Right? We're going through life and suddenly, and then we'll fall ill, whatever it is. Parinam dukha. And tap dukha, we are suffering while enjoying, but supposed to enjoy. Samskar dukha is you get something very nice in this life. The next life, when you don't get that, because the impression of happiness is there in previous life, and we don't get this in this life, suffering. Ultimately, everything is suffering. Right? यही संस्पर्श जा भोगा दुख योना या एवते, womb of misery. Right? So, a person with such knowledge can understand how the condition living entity is suffering the middle existence. So, a person who knows has jnana chakshu, then aisa hai. What to do? Then we have to make a program. When we do some, we have to come up with something so that we can get out of this cycle of misery. Right? कुछ करना पड़ेगा. Right? Then, therefore, those who are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give this knowledge to people in general, for their conditional life is very much troublesome. That's why we talk. भैया ऐसा है, ऐसा है, ऐसा है. Because we want to do things, because when you are highly developed in Krishna consciousness, we get the mood of compassion. Compassion, we do something for others. How to do good for others? But talking about Krishna, talking about Shastra. Does that make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Anita, do you remember that Hari Pasha Prabhu gave example, that pink coconut water?
Pink coconut water.
Yeah.
I was just remembering that.
Yes, exactly. So, but that doesn't mean we stop living our life, right? Because everything in the material world also has utility, right? So all this, when we see the moon, we should remember Krishna's beautiful lotus face. Because Krishna is moon face Shri Krishna, Gaur Sundar, right? Krishna Chandra, Gaur Chandra, Rama Chandra, right? Chandra means moon. Right? So all different elements, they have their utilities. So just because we understand, oh, everything is a place of misery, we should not reject everything. Right? You know what is called? By rejecting everything. Arey, yaar, it's for the misery. Reject. What is that called? Rejecting things.
Faltu vairagya.
Phalgu vairagya.
Falgu vairagya.
Yeah. False renunciation. Instead, we should do yukta vairagya. Not being attached to things, but using those things in Krishna service and for us to remember Krishna. Okay? Ramya, any questions? Let me make sure.
Not till here, Prabhuji, but I've not made a link yet as to all the stuff that is being taught.
Right now, this verse talks about in the previous two verses. Like Krishna talking about how the living entity, when they move, it moves one body to another. Just
Oh.
like the air carries aromas.
Mm.
When the air travels to gutter, it takes gutter smell. They'll hover
Mm.
over the flower, nice rose garden, it smell of the rose gardens, right?
Right.
Depending on various conception of this life, we'll get the next destination.
Based on what we do in this life, we get the
Yeah.
next life.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's the aroma we're carrying right now.
Correct.
And go to the next destination.
Okay. And there was something else also in the previous slokam you were telling. Subtle senses subdued.
So when the living entity carries someone, goes one body to another, it carries senses along with it. It carries subtle body. Subtle body includes ego, mind, intelligence. Okay? Right? 7.4 verse. Status of 4, right? Bhumi, Apa, Anarvayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhir. They're all metal senses, metal things. So subtle body is Ahankar. Then we have Buddhi, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar. MBA. We carry MBA.
Okay.
Man, Buddhi, Ahankar.
Hmm.
Okay? But along with that, we carry senses. So those senses which present in subtle body
How are
are
we
the actual
carrying
senses.
senses, Prabhuji, from?
Uh-huh.
So my previous, my senses of this Janma have nothing to do with my previous Janma senses, right? I don't even know what I was in previous Janma.
Yeah, exactly. So these senses which were eyes which you're talking about, they are the seat of sense. For example, let's say, okay, imagine these sense organs here, right?
Hmm.
They are president, prime minister, cabinet minister position, minister of agriculture, minister of this. Okay, they are the sense organs.
Hmm.
Okay, do different people come and sit? Right?
No. Okay, yeah.
The senses are like the person with the subtle body, and they sit on the seat of senses of whatever body they get.
Okay.
That makes sense. So these senses will be useless without the functioning of the sense in the subtle sense.
So the senses will be useless without the prime minister, president, like that.
Yeah, so
Without a
yeah. So so let's say the person has eye organ but doesn't work
okay. That means
because
in
subtle
his
sense devata presiding the subtle sense.
the sense of I it has not come from.
Yeah, it's not just this. This is the effect, the outside part. But the inside, the subtle sense, it's like a subtle sense. It sits on the gross sense, and
Okay.
because of which we're able to see outside.
Hmm.
And this subtle sense is presided by a devata. Every
Right.
sense. And when the devata doesn't cooperate, whatever reason, karma, whatever reason, then even though sense organ will be there, but this is not going to work. There won't be anything effect. Nothing will work. Sense organ. Does it make sense?
Oh, yeah. That is making sense, but this part where the senses get carried, that is still a little bit confusing.
Yeah. So let's say I'm going from this human body to dog body. Okay.
Uh,
The dog body is like a suit. It
right.
has some kind of nose, some kind of
Uh,
ears,
uh,
and kuch to hai.
uh,
I will go and try to fit myself in that body.
right.
To
So,
what will fit in the body?
but
That's
what
the
if
karma. Huh.
in this janma, if I some certain sense of mine is not working, and then I go into the dog body, I'll be carrying that same defect.
Depending karma, right? So let's say you are in this body, I don't have eyes not working, for example.
Right.
Let me present deity of the eyes based on what karma I have, will not let me go, will not let me work.
Even in my
Completely
next
right.
janma.
In the next janma, whatever is there to क्या बोलते हैं, suffer or enjoy, whatever it is, depending on that.
Okay.
Even this life also, whatever we have to suffer or whatever enjoy, whatever, depending on that, we'll see, we will to see or not see. Karma. And present deity gives, okay, your karma है इतना इसके लिए, I will allow. It's not continue. All
Okay.
the token of karma, the token, the
Right.
currency.
Right.
But I'm saying the subtle senses are the actual senses, and the sense organs are the seat on which the subtle sense sit, and they are going to interact with the outside world. So when jiva leaves the body, goes to another body, it carries along the senses go along with it. When I say senses, subtle sense organs. No, the subtle senses go along with it to fit itself on the next body.
Okay. Now it's making sense.
Makes
Pooja.
sense? Yeah. So we have subtle senses and we have gross senses.
Hmm.
The gross senses are just for interaction and only work. The subtle senses work along with it in tandem. The Devata say no.
Okay.
What reason? Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Babuji.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay. This was number 10. Okay. So what is the cure for this ignorance? We moved away. Krishna says those whose eyes are trained in knowledge. By how? By hearing and learning Shastra, one can see. Vibuddha means fools, ignorant. So how Krishna's knowledge is the way, and how to get the knowledge? Through someone who is trained in knowledge. And how should we approach them? How should we learn by someone trained in knowledge? By learning and by learning hearing and learning the Shastra. That make sense? Okay, yes.
Yes, Fuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Right. So now, if you talk about the lack of shastric learning, what happens when you don't have enough when you don't do shastra study? What happens? Next verse. Okay, what will happen? I mean, the 11th verse. Months, indeed. Okay. So now, 11th. So Vivek, say something.
You're asking who wants to read the next verse. I thought I'll read.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Were you going to say something? Sorry.
No. Please go. Correct.
यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्त्यात्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽप्यक्रात्मनो अकृतात्मनो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसः यतन्तः endeavoring yoginah transcendentalists cha also enam this pashyanti can see atmani in the self avasthitam situated yatantah endeavoring api although akrita atmanah those without self realization na do not enam this pashyanti see achetasah having undeveloped minds. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try. Purport. There are many transcendentalists on the path of spiritual self realization, but one who is not situated in self realization cannot see how things are changing the body of the living entity. The word yoginaha is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis, and there are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. They are simply addicted to some sort of gymnastic exercise and are satisfied if the body is well built and healthy. They have no other information. They are called yatanto yatantopya kritatmanaha. Even though they are endeavoring in a so-called yoga system, they are not self-realized. Such people cannot understand the process of transmigration of the soul. Only those who are actually in the yoga system and have realized the self, the world, and the Supreme Lord, in other words, the Bhakti yogis, those engaged in pure devotional service to Krishna consciousness, can understand how things are taking place.
Yeah. Thank you. Anything? The verse is very short. This is a continuation of the previous verse. Right? You're saying yatanta means yatan karna, endeavoring, mehnat karna. Yoginas chayanam. So the yogis by endeavoring, they pashyanti, what atmani, the soul, is situated in the body. Yatantopi akritatmano. But those endeavoring, even though they're endeavoring, but they're akrita atmano. They're not self-realized. Na enam pashyanti. They cannot, they're not to see. But the point is, it's very difficult to see the Atma. There's a lot of endeavor required. Okay? And Prabhupada says here, right? The many called yogis. So Prabhupada talks about those who are actually in the yoga system and realize the self, the world and Supreme Lord. In other words, Bhakti yogis. But this also applies to Jnana yogis and also to Ashtanga yogis. If they follow the path properly, they can also realize, no doubt. Because all these systems are modified systems mentioned in our Vedic Shastra. But the point is, the endeavor for them is too much and impractical in this age. That is why Bhakti Yoga is easier among all these paths. That makes sense? Right? So, Bhavan's point is that um, they can understand the yogis have to endeavor and then they will be able to see. It's difficult, but they will be able to see. And those with the pure heart will push नहीं किया, impure heart. They're not even trying. They may externally adambara, they can externally Both senses have yogis because but the practice is not there. They can't see. They can't realize. Means very small words, but hopefully it makes sense. Because they don't have Jnana Chakshu. Or Jnana Chakshu will be there, but it will be very convoluted Shastra. They realize their own meanings, convoluted meanings from Shastra. Does make sense? Is it? I know it's a bit dry, but
I got reminded of the Klesho Adhikataras verse, Prabhu.
which was
Klesho Adhikataras,
Tesham. Yeah,
Klesha. I
12th
just
chapter, right?
gave, yeah, I just gave my module 2, right?
Very difficult.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
difficult. They will
very difficult.
attain, but then after a very difficult path.
But yeah, exactly. And Bhakti is easier among all this. But again, we have to endeavor. But realizing that we are the soul is not enough. There is soul, who is Bhagavan, but the material world, but the relationship between all these three, that we understood very nicely. Then it makes sense. It will make sense. Okay? So self-realization is the initial step. We know Tattva we should know. Who is Bhagavan? Who are we? What is Prakriti? Tattva. Properly. The relationship between all these three. There's a relationship between these three. No relationship between these three. And then work on it. A lot of steps required. Okay? But unless one starts the process, endeavors, one will not know. So endeavor has to be there. Effort has to be there. Okay. Okay, that's clear. Okay. Any questions? So you can give me next verse. So at this point, we may know theoretically that we are the soul, we are not the body, we are the soul. The बोलते ना Bhagavad Gita Bhakti Yoga 101. We're not the body, the spirit soul. So this theoretic knowledge is there, and on this theoretic knowledge, we're trying to work the practical aspect, so you can realize at one point of time. Okay, so can you think of any one person who actually realized it to the extreme degree in Bhagavatam? Not the body, but spirit soul.
We realized about the spirit soul.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what's
not
the
the body at all, and the spirit soul. But realize one to the
Prahlad
extreme.
Maharaj.
Hmm?
Prahlad Maharaj.
उसमें भी एकदम कड़क एग्जाम्पल मतलब एकदम एक्सट्रीम एग्जाम्पल
Ambarish Maharaj?
पर
No.
but that's right. This is like a वैसे एग्जाम्पल एकदम कड़क.
Like Sukadev Goswami Prabhu, because
Yes,
he
yes,
never used to wear any clothes, and then he
yes.
used to be
Yes, that's one
so.
example. Yes, and that's actually one of the reason why Vyasdev uh, um, decided to give Shukdev Goswami all the knowledge of Bhagavatam completely. Why did he choose Vyasdev choose Shukdev Goswami so he can spread Bhagavatam? Not because he was his son. There's nothing. There's no nepotism there. बच्चा ही करेगा. No, no. Why? Because Shukdev Goswami was fully renounced,
Only renounced.
and that means what? He had no ulterior motive. Make sense? So when he spoke Bhagavatam, it was not with any ulterior motive. Because there's nothing for himself. He didn't want anything for himself. Did not even realize his body, nothing. So when he spoke Bhagavatam, there's nothing. मुझे क्या मिलेगा? Nothing. This shows the standard of a person who should speak Bhagavatam. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
The standard of person should speak Bhagavatam mentioned by Shukdev Goswami. It's no ulterior motive. So when you talk about others, talk to others, Pushil Bhagavatam, anything spiritual, it should be totally, मुझे कुछ भी नहीं, I'm just speaking because Bhagavan loves it, and that's for you, that's it. Nothing for me, मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, absolutely नहीं.
What probably what do you mean by ulterior motive? What will they gain ulterior motive
So
by
there
that?
are people who give Bhagavatam class पैसा, कितने भागवत करना है, कितना 10 लाख लगेगा भैया, 10 लाख.
Okay, like that. Okay.
There's no ulterior motive. What is this ulterior motive? Motive is there. There is motive for sure. No ulterior motive means something for me.
Okay.
It can be money, puja, love, pratishtha, fame, worship, anything. But because Sridhar Goswami has totally renounced, he has no absolute no desire for anything for himself. Zero. Perfect candidate. Because now when you speak Bhagavatam, it's not because he wants something. It's for other person's benefit. When you speak Bhagavatam, it's for other people's benefit and for pleasing someone or worship Ishtadev for their pleasure and for others. That's it. We should out of the picture. The side topic, but yes, Shuddhi was one example. One more example you can think of. If I give one clue, you will take the answer.
Clue. Yes, Prabhu. Clue.
Narada Muni Prabhu.
No. Fifth canto.
Oh, Bharat.
Jada
King
Bharat.
Jada Bharat. Yeah, Bharat.
Different different level altogether. At the different level altogether. Jada Bharat. Remember? मार रहा है, मार दो, उसमें क्या है? I'm not the body anyway. About to chop his head off. Absolutely no, nothing. Two different level. Right? And he gave his teaching to whom? King Raghugana.
Raghugana.
Raghugana was Kapil Muni's ashram. Before that, he got all the knowledge from Jada Bharat. Right? So, saying, one point is to theoretically understand what's going on and what are the things that can be done, applied, that can be done by myself to realize the theoretical knowledge that we should do. And for us, that is sadhana bhakti. So understanding theoretically that I'm the spirit soul, and what is mame vamsho jivloke jiv bhuta sanatana. Mama, mera amsha hai. Being Krishna's amsha, what is supposed to do? Serve him. Okay, how to serve him? Sadhana bhakti. Right? Sharam Pitram Vishwasmaram. We engage. By engaging in that activity for the pleasure of Bhagavan, the side effect is that all the others start going. I'm realized when the mirror is cleaned, so water is closest to the mirror. So when Cheto Darpana Marjanam, right? The verse Shishashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. When you clean the mirror, what happens?
It will reflect whatever is closest to the mirror.
Closest. So what is closest to the soul?
Consciousness. Paramatma.
We clean, we start raising ourselves, and Bhagavan is being right next. So, but that is the effect. What is the cause for it? The effect is the cleaning of mirror and actually seeing Bhagavan, Paramatma, and ourselves clearly. But there is an effect of something. What is the effect? What is that effect of?
Performing Krishna Sankirtanam.
Sankirtan. So we should focus on Sankirtan and not अरे संगीत तो इस साफ क्यों नहीं हो रहा है? Not try to focus on the result. Result will come provided the cause is done properly. Does it make sense? Don't put the cart before the horse. Our job, our desire should be to do sadhana bhakti properly. वो रिजल्ट आएगा जब भी आना आएगा. ये करने के बाद रिजल्ट क्यों नहीं आ रहा, रिजल्ट क्यों नहीं आ रहा, रिजल्ट क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? No, that's not how it's supposed to be done. Focus should be to do sadhana bhakti perfectly. When sadhana bhakti done perfectly, the result will come. Does it make sense? So this is the practical way of theory knowledge, practical way of doing from Shastra, Jnana Chakshu. So again extension on that particular verse. So next verse तो बड़ा है. Do you want to take the next verse, the last verse, or do you stop here? What do you want to do?
What about everyone else? I'm okay
We
with
read two
anything
verses
you say.
today. But was it clear to what I shared? Was it clear? The emphasis.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. We'll take 12th verse. Okay. I can read 12th verse. Okay. 12th verse. Okay. यत् आदित्यगतं तेजो जगद्भासयतेऽखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नौ तत्तेजो विद्धि मामकम् यत् that which आदित्यगतं the sunshine teja splendor jagat the whole world bhasayate illuminates akhilam entirely yat that which chandramasi in the moon yat that which cha also agnau in fire tat that teja splendor Vidhi, understand, Mamakam from me. Translation Prabhupada ki jai. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me. And the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. The unintelligent cannot understand how things are taking place, but one can begin to be established in knowledge by understanding what the Lord explains here. Everyone sees the sun, moon, fire, and electricity. One should simply try to understand that the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon, and the splendor of electricity or fire are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In such a conception of life, the beginning of Krishna consciousness lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in the material world. The living entities are essentially the parts and parcels of Supreme Lord, and He is giving herewith the hint how they can come back to Godhead, back to home. From this verse, we can understand that the sun is illuminating the whole solar system, the different universes and solar systems. And there are different suns, moons, and planets also. But in each universe, there's only one sun. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, 10.21, the moon is one of the stars, Nakshatrana Aham Shashi. The sunlight is due to the spiritual effulgence in the spiritual sky of the Supreme Lord. With the rise of the sun, the activities of human beings are set up. They set fire to prepare the foodstuff. They set fire to start the factories, etc. So many things are done with the help of fire. Therefore, sunrise, fire, and moonlight are so pleasing to living entities. Without their help, no living entity can live. So, if one can understand that the light and splendor of the sun, moon, and fire are emanating from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then one's Krishna consciousness will begin. By the moonshine, all the vegetables are nourished. The moonshine is so pleasing that people can easily understand that they are living by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Without His mercy, there cannot be sun. Without His mercy, there cannot be moon. And without His mercy, there cannot be fire. And without the help of sun, moon, and fire, no one can live. These are some thoughts to provoke Krishna consciousness in the conditioned soul. Wonderful. Right? So Krishna is explaining here that He alone accomplishes the material enjoyment. So whatever His amshas, the living entities, whatever they require for enjoyment, attached to material world. But He is the one according everything. If they require liberation, I do that for them. If they want freedom from material world, I do that for them. If they want to enjoy the material world, that also because of me. Because for sunlight means actions for attention. So when sun comes, all the actions they start. No, all the day starts. So all the actions for Jiva's enjoyment according to karma are accomplished by sun. Then work starts, right? And the fire talked about cooking, right? Eating. And then what happens? Then moonrise, nourishment will come very soon. In verse 13, shall say, right? And the juice and the moon, which moonshine, we supply juice to all vegetables. As moon, I give tasty vegetables for they can eat. So Krishna is saying the light which produces these effects of the sun, moon, and fire, they are my vibhutis. So Krishna's energy is light. One of Krishna's energy is light, and the vibhuti of Krishna as light is expressed or is exhibited to sun, moon, and fire, which is required by each and every living entity to live. So Krishna is saying, because of my energy, because of my mercy, everyone is living and doing things, enjoying or liberate everything because of me. Does it make sense? Once.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. And that's what Krishna mentioned at the Prabhupada mentioned at the very end, or the explanation which he gave is that part, that there's no possibility of doing anything without these three entities: moon, sun, or fire. So all the light we see is extension of sunlight, one from the other. The plants, they prepare food, but how? Sunlight. Night, sun, moon gives just rasa, and fire we use both to cook. So Krishna is saying that everyone is dependent on his mercy. Without mercy, no one can live. Okay. Any questions? It's a very short verse. So why Krishna is saying this? Make sure when we see sun, make sure when we see moon or fire, remember Krishna. I give you a nice meditation. So how many of you boil water? Boil
All
water
of us, Prabhu.
on the gas में boil करते हैं और kettle में whatever. What do you see? The boil. What do you see? When water boils, what happens?
Bubbling.
Happens, right? You know what? How can you remember Krishna in that? Can you remember Krishna in that phenomenon? But when you see, can you find any connection of that to Krishna?
Milk boiling.
The
Big
heat.
boiling, yes. Big boiling, down the pastime, yes.
It is the Damodar pastime during milk boiling.
Yes. Any other pastime you think of? Water boiling. Milk boiling, water boiling. Any pastime you think of the water is boiling?
Kalia.
Kalia. When Krishna ever did the Kalia, Shruti Goswami mentions, describes the scene. For at least for here, the entire Purushottam meditation was Kalia pastime. We went to 20, 25 hours, I think 20 hours maybe, 20 hours. Just Kalia pastime, start to end, full Kalia pastime. So the Kalia pastime, the description is given how the lake, Yamuna lake, right, boiling hot. Next time when you turn the gas on to boil water, we can remember the Kalia pastime, not Kalia, but Kalia pastime. The family of remembering Krishna on the fire. Just to try connect different things to Krishna. Amrita Kapoor was saying, when you say Dubai, right? Either we can say Damodar Desh, sometimes Dubai. This boy Dubai. In Dubai, we should say दो भाई, not दो भाई. दो भाई कौन है?
Krishna and Balaram.
कृष्णा बोल रहा है, हमारा गौर नेता है.
God बताया
दो
Prabhu.
भाई नहीं
दो
बोलेगा, दो
भाई.
भाई.
Hari Prabhu.
That's what they correct. So trying to remember this is Prabhu Yukta Vairagya. What it is? Try to connect. Try your best. Difficult, we all in the same process. Difficult, but somehow. Yena kena prakarena mana Krishna niveshayet. Take the mind and try to work on that. So this is the main for this particular verse talking about. So Krishna talking to Vibhuti now. So the Vibhuti is mentioned in chapter number 5, 7. So Vibhuti is mentioned in chapter number 9. So Vibhuti is mentioned the entire chapter number 10, Vibhuti. Now Krishna will say in this verse also Krishna will talk about some of Vibhutis. Energy you talk about here now from verse number 30 will start. In fact, itself will start. All things are for us to remember Krishna. Whatever we. Yeah, you ask me questions before we wrap up.
I was just curious why you selected Kaliya pastime for Purushottam month. Any significance?
No, which is one pastime to immerse ourselves. Just
Okay,
like
okay. Jai.
maybe
Hari
next time
Bol.
will be different. Next
Jai.
time I desire maybe in another month. Then Govardhan.
Hari Bol.
Some those also will not went. Will talk Damodar. They went talk about Govardhan. That's what my desire is. We'll see. But it was very nice to talk about it. So nice. Sometimes 2 hours speaking. This is 1 hour program. We'll go there speak for 2 hours. Very, very nice. Yeah,
Hari
meditation.
Bol.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think by the leave. So this time Madhuri had a goal of 51 houses.
51.
51 houses. First
Hari
time
Bol.
here.
Ah,
And till last week, the 7 days was left, and we've only done what? 20, 22 or something. Very less.
ah.
Last 1 week or last 8, 9 days, from that 22 houses, even 54.
Hari Bol.
Yes. And one Saturday, we did 12 programs across everyone, not just everybody also. But there are 5 programs in parallel going on, and total 12 programs in one day.
Hari Bol.
Jai Prabhu.
That's amazing. So we did we did morning, afternoon, evening. Last Saturday, and previous Saturday, morning, afternoon, evening. It's like amazing. From one house to one house. One house. Morning we'll leave, we'll come back at night.
Only you did 51, Prabhu?
No. The other devotees are how many? 4, 5 more families.
5 families together did 51 home programs.
Yeah. 5,
Hari
6.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
First
See,
time, they're like very nice. And all the women, all the kids, everything, all the kids, everything. Kashi Yada Kunji Bihari's photo. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, one first part, Srimad Bhagavatam, then Back to God magazine, and temple schedule. Everyone.
you gave Back to Godhead magazine. Very nice, Prabhu.
Back to God magazine, temple schedule, Bhagavad Gita mostly, or sometimes Krishna book, or Bhagavatam ka first part, just small part, first canto, first part, first 30 chapter something, 8 chapter something, the blue book,
Ah, the
Bhagavatam,
blue book.
did that also.
Ah.
So this amazing. They already started preparation for Damodar, Kartik month. Already started. But their goal is now is 108 in Kartik.
Ah, ah.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But we're already gearing up. Mid-October to mid-November, Kartik month. Mid-November, end of October. Anyway. Okay. Any questions? Months? Twice? Oh, okay. Remember to say something?
No, Prabhuji.
Good. Thank you so much for coming. We'll continue from verse number 13. Next time, it might take 2 weeks to finish this 15th chapter. Or we're not trying to finish, but hopefully it finishes, and then we go 16, 17, 18 more chapters. This year, I don't know. Let's see. If Bhagavata finishes, we can get the Bhagavatam.
Hari Bol.
Bhagavatam. Okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna. वैष्णव नमो मंत्र वैष्णव की जय श्री भगवद गीता की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की जय हरे कृष्णा
Jai.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.